I know.
All right, let's begin. Hi, everyone. Welcome to CCDA, our spring conference. I welcome you, and I welcome our amazing presenter, Ms. Amy Gleason. She's from UC Irvine. She's going to be talking to us about how to negotiate our salary. She's from the Division of Continuing Education, Career Services Manager. Um, Amy, thank you so much for being here. I'll allow you to introduce yourself and what you're going to be talking about. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sanaz. It's so nice to see you and have this support. Hopefully, you can all hear me okay, correct? Give me a notice if there's any problems. All right, so it's nice to see you all here. Yes, I'm Amy Gleason. I work at UC Irvine Division of Continuing Education, and I manage career services there, which is a division that provides professional certificates to adult learners who are generally making career changes and upskilling. So before we get started, let's see, I am actually going to set a timer because I've got so much content and it is a challenge to get through. And I don't want to keep you from your lunch. So I'm going to do my best to keep on track here because at the end of the session, we will have time to practice some scenarios, some actual responses to things that employers might say to you in a salary offer conversation. But first, I just want to ask, I don't know if I can see everyone here. Has anyone here just come from Jane's fantastic workshop, the part A of this? I can't tell. Anyone? No, we only have a few people here today, right?
One person raised their hand. Yes, one
Okay,
person, and I was there as well. And
perfect.
so was
All
Jane.
right. Yeah, because really just Jane, make sure you watch the recorded webinar of her presentation, which really provides some cultural background about the challenges of salary negotiation. And I'm going to be talking more about some nuts and bolts, but I know the topic of this conference has confidence in it. And when it comes to salary negotiation, a big hurdle to overcome is our lack of confidence with that process. So I am here today to hopefully help you build that confidence. Before we get started, just a reminder that the webinar is being recorded and closed captioning is available. And I do appreciate being able to see who's here, and I might ask a question occasionally. So if you can turn on your camera and engage, I always appreciate that. And as far as I'm concerned, I will just share with you that where I'm working, UC Irvine, continuing ed. I also have a side gig. I do teach a course at UC San Diego. I don't have that on here, but they actually have an amazing, in their extended ed program, they have a certificate for advising, a career advising certificate. And I have the honor of teaching one of those courses. And I also do a side gig of my own business, teaching English as a second language to business professionals from all over the world. And I do private career counseling. But I am a really grateful member of CCDA. I think this is a great organization. It has helped me connect to so many cool professionals, including Jane. So I watched her webinar on the same topic that she just did. I saw that she offered it to CCDA and the light bulb went on. I said, hey, I don't even know this person, but she's pretty amazing and she's got some good content and it seems like it would dovetail with mine. And we decided to collaborate and we worked together on this. So yay for us, Jane. Feel free to link in with me for sure. All right, I'm going to give you a little spiel about DCE because you know they're allowing me to be here with you today. Our Division of Continuing Education offers over 65 certificate programs, and there are hundreds of classes each quarter. We have practical industry applicable training. Classes can be taken in online and virtual formats. The university level instruction is by industry experts, and it's accredited UC approved curriculum. Custom corporate training is also available. I'm in the corporate training team, which is really great. because I do employer relations. We have a job board for our certificate learners, and we are all over the community. But if you are looking or know someone who's looking to upskill or make a career change, this is an alternative to, let's say, getting a master's degree or even just taking courses. Okay, so here's what I would like to talk about today. I need to remove this whole thing right here. So first of all, some of this will overlap with what Jane taught, but since you weren't all there, you'll get to hear it. And if you were there, it'll just reinforce it. So first, to understand why salary negotiation is important, to build your self-confidence as well as strengthen your skills. So it's a combination of both. You can have the skills, but if you don't have the confidence, it won't work. And if you have the confidence, but you don't have the skills, it won't work either. So you need both. Identify what is negotiable other than salary and how you can rank your priorities. Learn strategies that will increase your success in the art of salary negotiation. And at the end, in the final 10 minutes, see negotiation scenarios, and we'll just practice in a group. We don't really have time. Ideally, we would do breakout groups, but we won't do that today. So here's your first thought of the day when it comes to salary negotiation. 8 out of 10 companies are willing to negotiate salary, but only 3 out of 10 job candidates ever try. So I do this workshop a lot because I feel like this is a message that needs to get out there. I want you all to be the 3 of the 10. You need to be 3 out of 10, and I'm hoping I'm going to challenge you to try this. But first, let me ask you, and if you would just show a raise of hand or reactions, how many of you have negotiated a salary at some point at any career? I mean, any point in your career. All right, Jane, thank you. And uh, okay. And Shelby, it's so nice to see you. Okay. She's a power behind CCDA. Okay, so are we saying that my co-presenter Jane is the only one in this group who has attempted? Did I miss anyone else? Okay, yes, you have. Okay, very good. All right. Well, that's cool then. Either way, you might hopefully learn some new kernels of wisdom if you have already done this. So, why is salary negotiation important to master? Because if you don't know your own worth and value, don't expect someone else to calculate it for you. People are not really looking out for our salary protection, for our career wealth, okay? No one's doing that besides us. And we have to really be thinking about how we can advocate for ourselves. So just 38% of recent graduates negotiate their salary upon receiving a job offer. That's despite 3/4 of employers saying that they typically have room to increase their first salary offer by 5 to 10%. So I'm just putting in some quotes here to validate this concept of why this is important. Despite fear around negotiations, recent graduates must do a better job at confidently asking for the pay they deserve. Now, I'm addressing recent graduates because just like Jane discussed, I didn't do any of this until I became a career coach, okay? And I cringe every time I do this workshop because I go through certain slides that I just think, wow, I am so lucky that I didn't get screwed over. I took verbal offers. I didn't wait to respond. I mean, I did all the wrong things. And so this isn't just about recent graduates, but it's especially for recent graduates because most people coming out of college are just happy to get a job. They don't even think about negotiating. And you know, I worked at Cal State Long Beach with undergrads, and I that was the message. Yes, you can negotiate. So we've already heard about National Equal Pay Day. It was just passed in March, and it's usually posted around uh, LinkedIn, including on my own profile. But it symbolizes how far into the year the average woman must work to earn what the average man earned in the previous year. So the message here is that there is a gender pay gap, and it's not getting better, which is really discouraging. The gender pay gap affects all women in the workforce, regardless of race, age, education level, or industry. And for the first time in 20 years, the wage gap widened in 2023. Women earned 83% for full-time work and 75% when part-time and seasonal work were included compared to a male counterpart. It is unacceptable for us to be going backwards. It's time to push for real change. And AAUW, the American Association of University Women, is where I got a lot of this content. I went to an all-day training in Long Beach some time ago. I encourage you to go to their website. They have excellent resources and they do offer train the trainer. But this is an important issue. And I also just realized that there's a film about Lily Ledbetter. Does everyone know who that is? I encourage you to research Lily Ledbetter. She was the person who identified that this is a problem and championed making the change. And they've actually made a movie out of it. And apparently, just by coincidence, I think it's releasing today in theaters. So you might want to, I know it's amazing. I don't know how popular it'll be, right? Because this isn't a sexy, fun topic. But I would encourage you to try to find the movie. I know I'm going to. Okay, so we're going to talk about the gender gap. When I do this presentation, I always say this information is for everyone. Um, Men have to sit tight and listen and learn, and hopefully be advocates. Because the salary negotiation skills are important for everyone, but more so for women. So women often don't fare better in the gender pay gap due to a combination of factors, including occupational segregation, where women tend to be concentrated in low-paying jobs, disproportionate caregiving responsibilities leading to career interruptions, gender discrimination in hiring and promotions, lack of workplace policies supporting flexible work arrangements, which can hinder women's ability to progress in their careers and earn higher salaries compared to men. We are still living at a time when who is the primary caretaker for the children in a family? I mean, it has balanced more over the years, but I see it every day in the workplace. I literally asked one of my coworkers, does her husband ever do anything with the kids? How come she's always doing all the stuff for the kids, right? This is still happening and it affects women's professional career and pay. So, 6 reasons why you should negotiate. Number 1, the first offer is often not the best possible offer. Number 2, it's okay to ask for what you're worth. Number 3, a higher starting salary means higher raises in this job or future jobs. Number 4, salary is not the only part of a compensation package that you can negotiate. Number 5, negotiating shows that you are confident and can advocate for yourself and your abilities. Number 6, if a company can save money on your salary, they may give it to someone else, right? If you don't ask, the next candidate will. The money is there in most cases. So preparation is such a major key to so many aspects of career development. I mean, I address preparation when we're talking about getting ready to create a resume, preparing for interviews, preparing for networking. It's all about preparation, right? So in this case, salary negotiation, there is a lot of preparation that needs to be done. So before you consider requesting a higher salary than what is being offered, or in your workplace, maybe at annual review time, requesting a higher salary, you need to be clear about your personal value in the marketplace. What do you have to justify why you deserve a higher salary? And what are other grads or experienced professionals being offered? What is the typical industry pay? What skills are you contributing? So you don't have to make that up. That information is available. Okay, so it's really important to have benchmark salary uh, resources. And these are three of the best. There are probably more, but of course, salary.com, glassdoor.com, and the Bureau of Labor Statistics. It's one of my handiest tools as a career coach, not only for people exploring careers and trying to find out what the occupational outlook is of their career, but also looking at salary ranges, and they even break it down by region. So these are super helpful places to go before you craft your proposal for a salary negotiation. All right, we're going to learn two acronyms today. And the first one is ZOPA, the Zone of Possible Agreement. So your ZOPA is a tool that you use when negotiating. You have an anchor, that's where you start, and you should be near the top so you have room to move down. And remember, before you go into a negotiation dialogue, not debate, that you will decide on a point in advance where you know you will walk away. So it's very important, especially in our field, which is not highly paid. And we know the cost of living where we're living. I mean, if I see one more headline about how expensive it is in California, I'm going to scream. Okay. We have to be realistic, and we have to know, what do I need to make? And I might need this job, but there's a certain point I might need to walk away. So this slide has a lot going on. It breaks all the rules of making slides, but I'm going to try to get you through this so you can see. I think it's an important visual. So you have a ZOPA, Zone of Possible Agreement, and you see that range there with ZOPA in the middle. So you know the lowest offer on the left, that's what your lowest is that I can possibly take, and then the highest possible offer from the employer. So you might see the salary range, and you're not going to get what's the highest. I mean, I don't know, unless you're like an engineer or a rocket scientist or something. I mean, it depends, I suppose, but most people are not going to get the highest possible offer. Okay, so you're looking for a bargaining range that has the potential for a win-win. So, for example, if a job candidate would accept an offer between 70,000 to 80,000 per year, and the organization is willing to pay 65 to 75, then you have a ZOPA of between 70 and 75. You have that range that is a win-win. By contrast, if there is no overlap between the parties' reservation points, for example, if the job candidate will accept no less than 70,000 and the organization will pay no more than 65,000, then no ZOPA exists. And both sides would be better pursuing their next acronym, BATNA. Okay, so part of your preparation is knowing what is the reasonable salary range for the job I do in the region I live in, and you can research that. And then what is the salary, the lowest I can take, and what's a reasonable midpoint in the salary range that I can request, and how will I back that up? How will I show them how I'm unique? This is why I should have this salary. And we'll see scenarios where you can practice this. So, BATNA, the best alternative to a negotiated agreement. What is the best you can do when the other party doesn't negotiate? Be prepared to list alternative perks that you may want or need besides salary. And we just heard, was that in your workshop, Jane, that someone said in higher ed, we're hearing more and more about people saying, this is it, this is the best we can do. I've been there, so I'll try to give an example.
Right, it wasn't
So yeah, I want you to be thinking about what is negotiable. There are lots of things. I mean, I had a friend once who was like crazy. He read some book that like everything is like you can negotiate a pack of gum at the grocery store. I mean, there's a theory that you can negotiate everything, right? So just remember that salary negotiation is not just about salary. So think about the benefits, vacation, sick leave, health coverage, tuition assistance, very important, right? Professional development. That's an interview question I often ask. How do you support professional development? Will I be allowed to go to conferences, professional conferences at, any point through the year, which of course doesn't seem to happen anymore. I mean, they're online like this, but what is it? What are the things that are important to you that you would want to negotiate if salary is not an option? Flex work arrangements. I mean, wow, that has more meaning now than ever in the history of the world of work. Moving expenses, retirement packages, stock options, even your title, your responsibilities and opportunities. What kind of supplies might you need for this position? The computer, cell phone, a car allowance. How about a signing bonus? How about an annual bonus? What's the severance if there is a need for that? Performance-based bonuses and commissions. How about at the performance review date? So this list is pretty exhaustive, but has anyone here ever negotiated something else that is not on this list? I can go back one. Or has anyone negotiated anything on the list? Okay, well, I'm going to tell my little story now. So I interviewed at another university, not where I am now, and I was relocating from California to another state. And I had my interview and everything went well, and they offered me the position, and the salary was not great. So I did my best to negotiate, and they gave me that answer that we heard about in Jane's workshop. This is as high as we can go. We have a limited budget, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's never true, by the way, but whatever. So I was disappointed, and I thought, wow, I'm taking this job really with an inadequate salary. Um, and then I thought, well, I am moving and I need like a moving truck and everything, and it's cross state. So I asked if they would assist me with my moving expenses. And they offered me $1,000, which was a fraction of what it cost me. But who's going to say no to $1,000? Okay. And they would have never in a million years offered it. I mean, that's what I'm saying. If we're not advocating for ourselves, no one's going to do it for us. Okay. They wrote me a check for $1,000. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I mean, I appreciate that. I didn't even know what a BAMP was at that time. I just was like, hey, I need some help here. Okay. Second lesson of this is after I was there for a full year and I demonstrated my value and I went above and beyond in my job at performance eval time, I did major preparation. I provided a written document and I said, here's the things I would like. And I got it. Okay. Now you win some, you lose some. I haven't always been successful with salary negotiation, but I've done a few. Generally in my current role. So just remember, I have to say, my dear mother always taught us it never hurts to ask. It's one of the greatest life lessons I've ever had. Uh, it never hurts to ask. Okay. Think about how to prepare, organize your proposal, and ask. So, in the preparation process, here is something to consider. And this is where I cringe because I broke all these rules. Anticipate never saying yes to the first offer. Avoid committing while you're under pressure. Think it over. And whether it is below or above the target, always discuss your worth to move to a higher offer. Even if you're pleased with the salary, you've got nothing to lose. See if you can bump it up a couple $1,000. Because remember, this is an exponential situation here. The higher your salary, the higher your Social Security, the higher your next salary, right? So even incremental increases make a difference. So negotiating a pay raise with your current employer. So again, this is where I actually have more experience than negotiating upon an offer. It's very similar. You still need to do your research and gather evidence. Don't be shy in selling yourself. Know what you want. Request a meeting and keep it professional. Rehearse the conversation. And if you're turned down, find out why. It's your employer. You can ask. Try not to take it personally and congratulate yourself for trying. And if successful, don't gloat to your colleagues. Okay. I have an example of this. Two of my childhood friends back in Chicago worked together, and they both wanted to advocate for increases in their salary, and they worked together to like create a plan. Well, they both did it, and they both got increases. But my one friend asked the other one what the increase was. And I mean, we're talking really old, close friends here. So my one friend told the other one, and it was a higher increase. And they're still friends and everything, but it created some animosity, right? So just try not to discuss it with coworkers. Okay. Okay. Negotiation is an art and a skill. It is really both. It's a nuanced art. It's never an ultimatum. You always begin with mutual respect. Beware of your tone and the language you use. The end result isn't a victory or defeat, but an agreement that allows both sides to come away satisfied. So this is a student testimonial. It is true from this is one from this might be from my current role. I have a couple of them, but these are students who attended this workshop. And I got an email from one that said, I was offered a position this morning paying $16 per hour. I was able to negotiate to $18 per hour plus an additional $2 essential worker pay, so $20 an hour. I told the hiring manager that I need to consider the offer and we'll get back to him on Monday. I was very nervous, but I'm so excited that I took the leap of faith. There's so many messages in this one email, right? We're all nervous. I've done it many times. I still don't like it. It's still nerve-wracking, okay? But you've got to take the leap of faith and you've got to have confidence in yourself and your value. I mean, these are perfect words. I did not edit this in any way. Thank you so much for this salary negotiation session. I literally had the scenarios opened and read straight from it, and you're going to see those scenarios. Okay, and this is the more recent one. Hello, Amy. I wanted to share some good news. After attending your workshop, I gained the confidence. I mean, we're seeing that word, right? So much of this is about confidence. I gained the confidence to ask for a raise and successfully received a 2.9% increase. It's a step in the right direction, and I'm so grateful for the insights and tools you provided. So even small increases are incremental. They have other impacts. So I like this from the first gen mentor. Choose your uncomfortable. Negotiating your salary can be uncomfortable. Being underpaid is also uncomfortable. And this is my mantra. When I supervised a large team at Sutter Medical Center, I had this framed sitting where we would meet for our one-on-ones. I really believe in this wholeheartedly. Speak your mind, even if your voice shakes. Okay. So we now have some scenarios. So are we good? Oh, I've got do I have 11 minutes left? What time is it? 11:30, and I have till what time? 11:50?
11:50, yes.
Okay, that's amazing. So I was so nervous that I wouldn't get through these slides that I trimmed it quite a bit. My full presentation has more information, but you have the most important information, okay?
And Amy,
And
you can
so
always negotiate for more time.
ah, she is a quick learner. Excellent. Let me do something first. I'm going to take a look at the chat because now we do have time. So let me look at the chat and see what's going on here. Is this still your chat, Jane? Oh, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, same
No,
chat.
no.
Just go to the very bottom.
Okay. So I love that mantra. Which one? Yes, the speaker mind. Yeah. So Jane says, I have negotiated a slightly different title at one job. There we go. Moving expenses at another and higher salary. Look at you, girl. All right. See, I mean, someone did mention in Jane's workshop that as career advisors, we should practice what we preach. So I don't always practice what I preach. Like I tell all my business ESL students that they should go to Toastmasters, and I tell them I've never gone to Toastmasters. Okay. But in this case, if you really want to teach other people how to do it, it's important that you try it yourself, right? So when you have that opportunity. So, okay. So Jane is like walking the walk. All right. And is that it? An agreement to revisit title or salary? Oh, yes. That's what you did. An agreement to revisit title or salary after a given period of time. Yes. Oh, reduced hours. Oh, Sanaz, you did that. And were these successful
Yeah.
negotiations? You can unmute now. There were some small group. Did you all have successful negotiations?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, very good. That's excellent. That's amazing. And then Shelby, what's happening since my contract is collectively bargained? My way of practicing what I preach is to help my partner with salary. Haha. Okay. Yeah, I mean that's an issue, right? Can you expand on that? Does that mean you really don't have an opportunity to negotiate your salary?
Correct, but to my understanding, and like I do want to humble myself to say I don't know, but when I lead salary negotiation workshops, one of my first slides, and I appreciate this because I might change it after this, but it's when are cases when you would not, right? So almost every case it's worthwhile. When are cases when you would not? And a couple of things I list are if based on the data you're seeing and what you know, you don't have enough justification to even be able to. And then another one is unions and collective bargaining because HR is just going to keep redirecting you back, and you can still be part of the negotiation, but it doesn't look the same. It's a lot more about working with your union to identify what issues on the table are most important. So, I mean, you still are negotiating, but there is a level of hypocrisy to I lead these workshops and I've never done it on the one-on-one way because similarly, my first jobs out of college, I had that mindset. Just give me anything, and my first jobs out of grad school as well, right? I graduated in 2020. So my first pandemic salary, I was working with a bachelor's grad. We had the same salary, even though I was coming out with master's debt. So anyway, collective bargaining is I really value it. I think it's super important. It makes it stronger. It reduces equity issues. But I think it does limit my experience with this kind of negotiation.
Absolutely. That's a really important point. Yes, coming from Long Beach State, where we were represented, I'm thinking of what else then? It would be more like getting your job description changed, like getting a promotion to a new classification. That's what you can do when you're in collective bargaining, is to try to demonstrate. I was a career educator, and now my title should be and my job should be manager of career services. True story. But I'm not in collective bargaining, but that is an example. Okay. Very interesting. So let me ask, because you're all professionals and you have experience on some level with this. What else would you add? We'll do the scenarios, but I'd love to hear from you. Just like Shelby did, which is so important, what else would you include or do you include in your career advising about salary negotiation?
Hi, Amy. I have a, oh, Sana.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, on that topic that Shelby mentioned, I think so many of us who work institutions where the pay scale is very public, it's very clear, this is your step. You just feel like, well, that's that. I think there's always questions just in case. So for my instance, um, at the institution I work at, that step is very clear. We all know what that step is, but honestly, as an adjunct, you still have a conversation with your dean on which step am I really? Because I had years of work experience outside of the community college system before my master's in counseling. I had a different master's. So I had a long conversation with her. I had to print out not just my resume, but like lots of information about when did I counsel students in my other positions. They weren't in community college, but I work with them this way, that way. And that was mainly because she was a very open supervisor who was like, well, tell me more about your experience. And she saw me present a similar presentation like this at another conference. So she knew I was very passionate about like trying to advocate. She's also a female. Like there's so many factors that really help me because you just sometimes feel funny coming in being like, I want to ask for more. I'm not necessarily the type of person to, even though I present on it, it is hard for all of us to really feel like you have the right space to ask for that. And I just got my counseling master's, so I felt like very fresh to the community college system. But I was able to have a space where I could show my years of experience, and I did start at a higher step than what I normally would have. I didn't just start at one. So I think there's so many factors, but at least ask, at least see if your supervisor or hiring manager or HR is open to having the conversation. Just be
Yes.
curious, like how do you decide which is the step? What are different things I can show you in my background? And that gets easier that the longer you work. If I was an entry level, I'd have nothing to show, but I felt like I had something to try. So that's just my little tip. There's always behind the
Yes.
scenes you hear, like how'd they do that?
Thank you. Yeah, we shouldn't accept no. Uh, Even if they're going to say no a second time, make the effort to see what is a workaround here. Who else? Does anyone else have anything that I missed that would be important to share? Or anything you heard that you found most important? I know I hope you'll fill out the evaluation and give feedback, but is there a kernel of wisdom that you'll take away that you will utilize?
Can I share what I recommend to students? Oh, sorry.
Sure, please.
Sorry, was someone else about to talk?
No, you're good.
Oh, okay. I heard something else. So what students often ask for some kind of, way to know, is it okay for me to even negotiate? And so I always tell them, if you look at the job description and you're able to do, first of all, if you're able to do at least 80%, definitely apply. And then the more closer you could fulfill the job responsibilities, the more you highlighting basically, the more you're able to fulfill that role with a minimum amount of training. Of course, there's always onboarding, but the training might not be that much because you've already done it. And so the more you could fulfill the job duties, the more leverage you have in that negotiation. And
That
so
is fantastic advice.
if they, for example, if they're asking for 10 things and you're able to do 9 of them and 10 of them is just like, I'm sorry, the other one is just the onboarding piece that you don't feel confident about. I mean, you could do the whole job and they don't have to train you that much. So your leverage in negotiating is much more.
Yeah, this is a super important point about trying to think like the hiring manager, trying to think like the employer. What do they need? I mean, we can all get into interviewing questions here, but what do you have that they need? And you are so right. The less they have to train you on, the happier they will be to hire you, because we know training is so time intensive. So show your transferable skills, show how what you did in another role is a match for this role, use their words, all of that. That's really excellent advice. And that's really like, look at your job description and highlight what do I have that they are requiring, what do I have that they prefer, all of that. Very, very good. I saw something else come up in the chat here.
Yeah, Shelby has a question.
Okay.
I wanted to ask just on technology and data wise. I tend to use ONET because I'm the most comfortable with it and it shows me regional data. So rather than California averages, I can look at Los Angeles, Long Beach, Anaheim averages. You mentioned BLS being your number one. I love BLS too. I typically notice it on the homepage mostly shows national data. And then when I try to look at state or local data, it takes me somewhere else. If you use that for pinpointed data, would you mind doing a demo of how you do that? I know you mentioned other websites as well, but the one I was curious about because I use it but haven't used it for local data is Bureau of Labor Statistics.
Well, we have to make a choice. If I do that, we won't be able to do the scenarios.
That's fair. I can also follow up with you one-on-one too.
Totally, absolutely, Shelby. I'd be happy to do that. Yeah. I mean, I'd love to do it if we have time, but because I do it with the student online, I show it to them. But no, ONET is such a great resource. And if that's working better for you, then definitely use that as well. All right, we are 26 seconds away from my timer going off. Shall we spend some time looking at the scenarios?
Sure.
And again, I do miss the days when we were in live. Well, I used to go into classrooms, live classrooms, and like pass around the paper sign-in sheet. I mean, not that long ago. And then at this point, people would get into pairs and they would practice. And my message for you today is do this with someone. Practicing is an essential component of being prepared and feeling confident. So let's just go through. I'm really just going to ask you, I'll be the employer asking the bad questions because employers sometimes ask naughty questions. And I'm just going to go down the line, like as I see you, and just give you the opportunity to say the words, to hear yourself answering these questions. So the first question is, if you were to receive an offer, what would it take for you to accept? Now, let me give you, okay. Oh, okay. It's not, I'm not going anywhere. All right. So let me first, before you role play an answer, I want to give you some information. Avoid negotiation before receiving an offer. So that's why I say naughty employers. They shouldn't be asking you this question if they're not offering you a job. Okay, so receiving an offer is when the salary negotiation begins. So research if the company is a salary leader or a salary lagger, right? You definitely research the company. What are people saying about it? What kind of salaries are coming up on those websites? Okay, so I've got three things here, and I'm just going to go down the line. Here's the order: Sanaz, Jane, Shelby, Yaz, Esther, Carrie, Lisa. Hi. Oh, okay. I didn't see you all. Okay. Let's just try to go down that line. I hope you got it in that order. So will someone read the first, Sanaz, read the first response.
While I'm very interested in the job and this company, it depends on the offer. I would be glad to respond to a specific offer.
Okay. And Jane, go next, please.
I applied for this position because I'm very interested in the job and your company, and I know I can make an immediate impact once on the job. I'd like to table salary discussion until we're both sure I'm the right fit for the job.
Yeah, I mean, you haven't offered me a job. You haven't offered me the job. I'm not going to talk to about salary. These are deflection techniques. So, Shelby, please, next.
I'm sure your employees are fairly compensated and I expect a competitive wage for a person with my experience. So let's talk about my background and what I can do for your company.
And again, the testimonial from a student said she literally had the script in front of her because the chances are this is over the phone if you're doing a salary negotiation. So you can look at these notes but you can just be prepared. All right, here's scenario number 2. The employer says, we'd like to offer you this salary. Okay, all right, well, that's exciting. So first, before you respond, pause, think, and discuss your worth in order to move to a higher offer. Consider, how does the amount compare to your salary survey? Remember, if they offer the job, they want you. So let's give an example of how to look for room to negotiate. Naz, please. Yaz, please.
You know, my research on pay scales for this job in the area led me to believe I'd actually be offered more. Is that possible?
And be careful with questions like, is that possible? That's a closed-ended question.
How is that? How
I mean, I'm just
is that?
using this content. So is there, who would take that, is that possible, and turn it into an open-ended question?
Can we talk about what is possible? Or, oh, no,
So,
that's also no, yes or no.
oh, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. What is possible?
what is,
I
So I'd
mean,
love
and
to
then
talk
don't say
about what's
anything.
possible. Maybe
Yeah.
even a statement.
Yes. Yes. Let's talk about what's possible. And then don't say anything else. Like we might be like, "Blah, blah, blah, blah." No, just wait, pause, let them answer. What's possible? Okay. Um, where'd we go? Shelby, are you next? I'm already losing track. Now it's losing order. Esther, why don't you go with anticipate the final offer? So I'm telling you, no, you just said what's possible, and I said that's as much as I can offer. Esther, what would you say?
Ooh. Oh, you got me in this one. Let's see. Can we explore an opportunity to oh Lord.
No, just go ahead and read. You don't have to make things up.
Oh, okay. Oh, so just read that the bullet point?
Yeah,
Oh,
I just said that's as much as I can offer. What's an option for you to discuss?
You don't need to forward the slide.
So can you see, try to turn the conversation to your benefits?
oh yeah, okay. Try to turn the conversation to your benefits still below the minimum. Be prepared to walk.
Right. So this is where, when you get shut down on the salary, have you done your research and prepared with your BATNA? What else? What's another alternative that you might want to negotiate? And it would be a big bummer if you have to walk away, but you have to decide if you do. Here's scenario number 3. And remember this little image over here. Oops. What our goal is the take it or leave it. You have to decide really what you will accept. So if the employer says, I'm sorry, but education assistance is just not negotiable. Or unfortunately, that's the best I can do. So we've got a way to delay, a way to reject, and a way to accept. So Carrie, would you read the delay response, please?
Okay. So I understand your constraints. In fact, one of the things I really value about your company is your concern for equity. So what I need to do is reconsider, is that just the offer? Is that, or the amount, I guess, X, to see if I can make this work.
So we always remember it's a negotiation dialogue. It's not a debate. It's not a contest. We want to keep the communication lines open, and we want to really convey that I do want to work here. I really enjoyed everything I learned about your company, and your mission statement says that you place equity as a priority, right? Use their mission statement on them whenever you can. Okay. All right. Reject. That was Carrie. How about Lisa, please?
Reject. Okay, I'm still very interested in working with you and your company. Is that the right one?
Uh-huh.
Okay. However, at this point, I am unable to accept the offer for the following reason. If you were able to, I would gladly accept the position immediately. Are you in a position to help? Help, that's a good word.
So this
Yeah.
is where you're basically saying, okay, if you're able to even give me like if you asked for 5,000 increase and they said no, well, you can say, can you if you're able to bump it up 2,000 a year, or if you're able to give me a more flexible work arrangement. Like here's where you're a step away from rejecting. You're saying, here's my last offer for you. Okay. All right, and then here is where you are accepting, but you're not really pleased. I mean, this is what I did with that job. You're accepting, but you're not thrilled with the salary. And let's go back to Sanaz on this one.
As you know, this is not as high as my other offer, but I'm so excited about the offer and my future at your company that I'll accept the current offer. I hope that in 6 months, I'll be able to demonstrate that I'm worth the higher salary.
Yep. Okay. And even if you don't have another offer, don't make it up. This is not the offer that I was hoping for or expecting based on my research. However, I really want to work with you. And I hope that in 6 months, I'll be able to demonstrate that I'm worth the higher salary. You could even make that more assertive and say, how likely is it that I would be able to negotiate a higher salary at my performance eval? Get a sense of that from them. So these are examples of how you will prepare for what they might ask you. Hopefully, they are not going to ask you about salary before they offer you the job. That is bad. Okay. And I call out recruiters. I follow a lot of recruiters on LinkedIn. A lot of them aren't even following the California law that says you have to include the salary range. I am sending HR professionals the California law about the salary range being included in a job description. Okay. They should know better. So it is something that we have to stay up on and just be assertive. Prepare, give it a shot, be assertive without being too strong. It's a common goal that you're both working to achieve. So I'm going to stop the share and I'm going to take one last look at the chat. And we got some other messages. Oh, good. Excellent. Lisa, thank you so much. Oh, look at you. Thank you. You put that in there. But yeah, so what you're saying though, Shelby, is that it might not be that useful. It might not be targeted enough. Is that right?
I'm missing what you're referring to with that one. With what I was asking about with the Bureau of Labor Statistics, I was able to get some help from Lisa in the chat too.
But I'm just saying, when you look there, are you saying that the BLS data isn't as targeted as
I think my
ONET?
challenge was before I would not know how to navigate to the state and local data. And ONET is easier to do that, but also like Lisa showed me a sub page to get to. So thank you. Thank you both.
All right. So I think we are over as everybody seems to be today, but do you want me to pull that up or you're good?
I think I'm good, but thank you.
Okay. All right. This was such a pleasure to be here. I'm so happy I was able to support CCDA. I can stay on if anyone has questions. I'm
I
not
also
going
just
anywhere.
realized Lisa said yes, please in the chat, so I don't want to speak for everybody. So maybe we will take some time if you're able to.
Sure, I'm good to go, but I know it's lunchtime and you need your breaks. Anyone that needs to leave, do complete the eval. And Sanaz, you're fabulous. Thank you. We could not do this without you.
Thank you.
So I'm going to stay on and take a look at that link, but thank you all for being here.
Thanks, Amy. That was great.
All right, and I didn't get to meet everybody,
Thank
but
you,
oh well.
Amy.
All right, so let's see, where did that go here? Is this no, I saw it. Now I can't find it. Hang on. Which one is it? Oh, here it is, way up, way up. Bureau of Labor Statistics. Let's open it. I'm gonna open it. Okay, good. And let me share. And then it might just like prove me wrong. I might find out that it's not that helpful for regional data. We'll see. Okay, so everyone can see this?
Yes.
So I use this so often that I just I have it bookmarked, I think, but I just go to Google and I go BLS and it comes right up. It is really helpful for this search right here. So let's just try look, I mean, you can see, look, paralegal, marketing, human resources, data analytics. I work with our certificate learners as they are trying to decide if they should pursue a certificate, for example, or where can I find jobs. So let's just use paralegal as an example. So this is how I would do it. I would go to the Occupational Outlook Handbook. And, you know, in extended ed, we do have, as many of you probably do, we have students all over the country, even international. So they're not all just right here in Orange County. Okay, so I just make sure they know, like, this is so great. Now, this is shocking to me, and I don't think this is true. This is not the occupational outlook you want, slower than average. I am bombarded with job postings for paralegals. I have told so many people, if you don't know what to do and you're interested in the law, you should become a paralegal. They pay really well, and there's a bajillion jobs out there. So I don't know why it says this, but normally you want the ones that say higher than average, right? But it just gives so much great information, what they do, work environment, how to become one. It goes down the line. But let's look at state and area data and see if it's very helpful. Maybe it isn't. So I thought it broke it down. Are you seeing all this? So this is what I'm basically talking about, is this piece here where it shows the highest employment. So see, California does higher. Maybe nationally it's a low occupational outlook, but in California, the lawsuit capital of the country. Uh-oh, is the recording still going?
Yeah.
We should turn the recording off. Oh well, that's all right. I probably already said
Anything I
something I'll get in
can.
trouble for.
I will
No,
just
I
add
mean-
real quick, and maybe this is, I use both BLS and ONET every day, and I think they're both super useful, but ONET lets you look at growth rates by state. It's growing 12% in California. So
Oh,
that
all
lived
right.
experience you're talking about, that's exactly why.
Okay, this is so great. Well, I need to use ONET more. That's what you're telling me.
It's
No,
a
that's
both
cool,
and,
Shelby.
right? They both have different strengths. Like ONET doesn't have that how to become one tab that I use every day. But for state area growth rate, because teaching says
Right.
it's on decline too. But if you look at California, teaching is growing. And when they see decline on BLS, it can freak them out. So yeah, I think it's about learning how to use both. And this is already helpful because this is the page that Lisa sent me. I hadn't used it before.
Okay, well, I totally appreciate you. I mean, I know about ONET, but I don't really, I think I even have it bookmarked, but I never really use it. So thank you so much. I'm definitely gonna bump that up into my tools. Yeah, this is great.
If you don't mind, if you could go into ONET, because I do agree with what Shelby's saying. I love occupational handbook for how can I become one, but I go to the wage information in ONET because it's clearer for people, it seems.
Okay,
And
so
it
is
also
this the
puts it
link?
down
Let me
city.
see. Is this the link that Shelby just? Yeah, so hang on, I'll share again. And I'm using your link, Shelby, right?
Yeah, and that one's going to take you to employment trends, but you can click the paralegals and legal assistants and go back out and look at wages because this is just growth rate. But if you click the hyperlink,
Oh, here's electrician. We could do that. I mean, that must be the last thing you'd looked up. Oh,
I think it's a fill in the
No,
blank.
that's
So electrician is an
automatic.
example.
oh, it's not really
Yeah.
there. It's not there. Okay, I see. I thought it was
It fools
paralegals and
us.
legals. Here, perfect. This is perfect. Okay, so can everyone see this okay?
Mhm.
Oh yeah, it's even got a veterans tab. Okay. So I'm scrolling down. Am I going to find?
Did you also
yeah, it's
see
just-
it had
You're almost
it
there.
had
It's
train-
just under wages and employment trends, and you can put in the zip code. So that's my
Yeah.
little cheat sheet here.
I
It's
use
down.
that. Keep going
Where
down.
am I going? Down?
All the way down. All the
It's
way
under
down.
education. Yeah, wages.
There
Yeah,
you go.
there you go.
Oh, right there, right there, right there. Come up a little bit.
All right, so this is very interesting. It's it's a lot of the same information. It's sort of outlined differently, but
Exactly.
because it has the related occupations. So job openings on the web. So then you
Not that
go
one.
to
Go up a little bit further.
A little bit more.
There you go. So
There
here it
you
is,
go.
wages and employment trends, and then local wages, you could put in zip code.
Oh gosh, give me a zip code.
911.
91106 is California. 91106. Is that, or sorry, Pasadena.
91106.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of zip codes. Okay.
So the reason I like this is because it kind of shows national, California, and the local area and lets it be a lot more visual. But I also do
Yeah.
like the complexity of the BLS chart.
Yeah, but this is really important. So look at this. In California, the average wage is obviously higher than in the United States. No, this is, I mean, they go hand in hand. I think they're both really useful tools. Look at this. Yeah, so BLS doesn't do this, I don't think. Look at that. That's pretty amazing right there. It covers like the whole
I
state.
agree.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much, Shelby, for sharing this. This is, yeah. In fact, you know what I would love? Because I don't know why, like these people who want to hire paralegals keep calling me and asking me what the salary range should be. And I do have a salary study that I got from our instructor who runs OCPA. I mean, she was a director for OC Paralegal Association. But does it have salary like does it have like ranges anywhere? Like they're trying to figure out their salary range for our job board.
Other than
Oh, here's
the bottom 10th percentile and top percentile in that chart, they don't have like an hourly. Oh, actually, sometimes they do, but it depends on the occupation. That's the thing about ONET is some occupations have more detail than others. And I also, just like fair warning, since I'm recommending it here, my school PCC has an anesthesia tech program. But if you look at the data there, it's a little bit skewed because it includes people with a master's degree and an associate's degree. So it's artificially elevated. So it's really challenging. I haven't found the perfect tool. I think in general, when I'm working with someone,